And I would drive 5,000 miles, and I would drive 5,000 more. When we took off in RV, we traveled 5,000 miles in 1 month. That's a lot of traveling. Starting in Atlanta, Georgia, we traveled all the way west to California, up to Northern California, and then back to North Dakota, where we have a lot of friends and family. And on the way, we experimented with different places to stay, different ways of traveling, and I want to share what worked and what didn't work for us.
You ready to go?
Oh my goodness. I'm so nervous. I'm feeling all jittery. But I have nuts and chocolate, so I'm good. Bye! She said goodbye. She said, don't worry, we'll be back.
I miss that little cute cat.
You'll miss the cute cat?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
We're going to, I think it's called Colorado.
Colorado. That's California and Colorado mixed together. We thought it would be best to just travel as much as we could on the weekends and then stay in one place for the week. We're both working full time, so it just seemed like staying in one place during the work week would work better for us. So that's what we started doing. We travel several hours in the morning and stop for a nice long lunch break. Accidentally discovered this spot.
Yeah.
I was trying to go to McDonald's and I turned in this narrow road, but hey, great place for lunch. We especially like to stop at rest stops, not gas stations, because we want the freedom for the kids to run around and explore. And you know, some rest stops can be pretty exciting.
It's a waterfall! I want to see it.
And then we always stop before dinner time because once again, we need that time in the evening for the kids to run around and us to just unwind at the end of the day. We don't drive late into the evening. Over the weekends, where would we stay for the night? We would stay at rest stops or truck stops. And believe it or not, I actually enjoy the rumble of semi-trucks nearby. It just makes me feel like we're not alone. It's like we're part of some kind of road tribe. We make ourselves pretty at home at some of these truck stops and rest stops.
All right, so we just pulled in for the night. And here's our front yard.
Especially if we can park along the curb somewhere where we can put our slides out and have a little more space. We stayed at an RV park in New Mexico outside of Albuquerque. As nice as it is to have hookups, you know, electric, water, and we even filled up our propane there, it got really boring. And this is something I found as we're traveling, like 2 nights in one place is pretty much long enough to experience the place and enjoy ourselves before we're ready to move on. Freedom! That was before we discovered dispersed camping. Dispersed camping is basically just public lands that the Bureau of Land Management keeps up. They make roads, just dirt roads. Sometimes there's little fire pits or picnic tables, but often it's just a dirt road and you can pull off and just camp. And the first place we stayed at that was like this was just south of the Grand Canyon.
Where are we going, guys?
Woo! We're on the Grand Canyon!
Now they're excited because they got maps.
Yeah.
I was the only one who'd been to the Grand Canyon before, so I was trying to describe to my family what it was. But how do you describe the Grand Canyon to someone who's never seen it before? It's this humongous hole in the ground, and it's amazing and beautiful. Just trust me. So we just drove back from the Grand Canyon, and our camper's over there, and there's elk having a little dinner right by our camper.
We're about to have some dinner too.
There you go, guys. You and me, huh?
There's this couple who is in a trailer right next to us, and that night we decided to just invite them over to our campfire, and we both had our ukuleles out and we were playing songs back and forth. This is the kind of stuff that I've just dreamed of, and it's like coming true. So after that, I was looking for dispersed camping all along our route because, man, we love it. And we don't need reservations. That's another thing we don't like about campgrounds and RV parks is we have to really plan ahead and make reservations, and that puts a cramp on our free-spirited flexibility. Go where the wind takes us. However, we found as soon as we hit California, it was so hard to find places to park. Even the rest stops and the truck stops had a maximum of 8 hours that you could park there. So we splurged a little bit and we made reservations at a KOA right by the beach, and it was worth it. We were right by a huge playground. There was a huge bouncy pillow nearby, lots of kids to play with, really great for riding bikes, a swimming pool, and laundry, and everything you could dream of. And we went to the beach, even though it was cold still. So 3 or 4 nights at that KOA, and that was like the most money we spent, at least on camping, this entire trip. The biggest cost for this trip, not surprising, gas. We traveled 5,000 miles and we spent over $2,500 on gas. We don't plan on making a habit of this. This is a lot of traveling in 1 month. I was actually pretty eager to get out of California. You know, we got there, we had a good time, but I just didn't feel like there was enough space for us. I was happy to leave California and get back to the open lands again. Okay guys, here's a dispersed camping spot I found in Nevada. Just in the middle of Nevada. Look at that. Hi, where are we?
So much crickets here.
So many crickets. Look at that view, guys. We got our own picnic table and our own fire pit. And our own stream. What do you think, Nat? I am a fan of dispersed camping. This is amazing. And how much does it cost to camp here? $0.
What is going on?
It's Mother's Day, so
And on the back, that's you and that's me. No.
There we go. Oh, and that's you on the back because you're giving me a present.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, look at all this great tape. After California, we just boondocked the whole time. I made a video about all the systems on the RV and how we boondock in terms of electricity, water, sewer, all that stuff. So you can check out the video if you're interested. Otherwise, we just loved exploring nature. There was the Salt Flats in Utah, and there were these huge cliffs that we could climb. Usually these places are further away from bigger cities. And bigger cities is where I like to do shopping and laundry and errands of all sorts. Otherwise, when we're on the road, we live off truck stops and Walmarts. At truck stops, we can fill up our water tank, we can empty our other tanks, we can fill up propane if we need it, we can fill up gas, obviously, and we can spend the night if we need to. And Walmarts, we can shop for household goods or food or any other things we need. It's our one-stop shop. And once again, we can stay the night if we want to. So Walmarts and truck stops are basically all we need to exist besides the open lands of America. So of all the places we've stayed, rest stops, truck stops, Walmarts, out in the boonies RV parks, fancy KOAs, dispersed camping, and mooch docking at friends and family's houses. There's pros and cons to each. Moving to a different place every single night is exhausting. We don't have to drive 1,000 miles to get to an exciting new place. Landscape changes quickly enough that after 100 miles, you're in a completely different place. So as we set out again from here on out, we do not plan on traveling that far that fast. We got to cover a lot of ground, try a lot of different places and ways of traveling, and we're ready for the next trek.